Hi everyone, Chris Natzke here with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching with your Mind of a Champion tip of the week. Today I want to talk about a concept that's really impacted me in my life. And it's a pretty simple one, but it's also a powerful one. And it's basically this: what we're looking for, we'll usually see. What we're looking for, we'll usually see. Another way of saying that is what we focus on is going to expand in our lives. You know, what I've really come to find is when I have a vision for what I want to do and I focus on the positive aspects of that vision and the things that support me in getting what I want and the positive reinforcement that I get from friends and mentors and people that I work with, I'll start seeing more of those opportunities in my life to get where I want to go. Conversely, if I just focus on just the challenges or the things that I don't like about that situation, the things that I'm really struggling with, I'll start seeing more of those. I think you'd agree with that as well. Now, that doesn't mean that we put our head in the sand and we just ignore the things, the challenges that we have. On the contrary, what it means is that we kind of open up and we look at things for what they really are in an objective way, without that story that sometimes gets us in trouble. Because when we're looking for the positive result, when we're looking for the things that we want to have happen, we'll usually see them. Case in point, I want you to think about maybe the last time, and maybe you're doing it right now, that you wanted a new car. You got really clear on the make and the model of that car. And I want you to ask yourself this question. Did you notice that when you got clear on what that end result was going to be in terms of the automobile you're going to own, you started seeing more of those automobiles on the road? You got really specific about a make and model. All of a sudden, you started seeing them driving by you all the time. Or you saw them in magazine articles, or you saw them in television ads or on the internet. You see, when we get really intentional about what we want, there's an aspect of the brain that starts to support us in finding that thing, and it's called the reticular activating system. The reticular activating system, RAS for short. And basically what this does is it's kind of like the bouncer of the brain. You know, because we have so much stimuli coming at us all the time that what the RAS does is it basically helps us weed out all the things that are distracting from what we said we wanted to focus on. So once again, what we focus on expands. Now, that's easier said than done, right? We have a lot of distractions in our lives and also a lot of challenges that come about. So what I want to do is I want to share with you 3 ways of being that I think can really help us on this road to making sure that we're focusing on the things that we truly want to expand in our lives. And the first one is this, is be present. Be present. Now, I don't know about you, this is sometimes the hardest one for me to do, again, with all the distractions that are coming our way. But being present is about getting really centered and just quiet and still and just noticing what's going on around us rather than, projecting into the future or worrying about the past, but just being present to what is. Notice, what's going on around us in our environment. Notice how your body's feeling. Notice what your breath is like, because that's when we're able to do that, we literally slow down the chatter in our minds and we can create powerfully from that place. Number 2 is to be intentional. Be super intentional. So what that means is once we have our minds settled down, now we start getting really clear about what we do want. Not what we don't want, but what we do want. And that might come in the way of, professionally what you want to create, health and wellness in your body, relationships, etc., whatever that is for you, but you get intentional about it because, again, where you focus on will expand. And the thing of it is when we're getting intentional, it's not just something that we're playing in our mind, but it's something we're actually embodying in that moment. So you start to feel what it would be like to have that. It's almost like you can taste it, you can smell it already, because what ends up happening is that our subconscious mind begins to attract us to those things when we act as if. So where do you have an opportunity to be more intentional and to actually act as if in the things that you really want to create? And then finally, the last one is to be proactive. Be proactive. Stephen Covey has that as one of his top habits of highly successful people. And many times it's easy for us to fantasize about what we want, but we don't really take the action. And I think that sometimes that's a result of when we want to create something big in our lives, it seems to be so big and overwhelming to us. But what I would recommend is to, when you have something big that you want to create, is be proactive, even if it's a small thing, and just move to the next right step and the next right step after that. because what you find is these things start to build momentum on top of each other. And I've shared on this blog several times, one of my teachers said is God meets us at the point of action. So basically what that means is the God, spirit, higher power, whatever you want to call it, starts to work with us when we start to get intentional, and then we take the step. We take one step, and then it comes another step toward us. So there are my 3 recommendations today. Number 1, being present. Number 2, being intentional. And then finally, being proactive. And while you're doing that, then get very focused on what you want to see, because what you are looking for, you're most likely going to find. So there you have it, my friends. Thanks so much for joining me on another edition of the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week. If you enjoyed this, if you got value from it, please like it, please comment and share. And also, many of you were super helpful for me when I launched my latest book, Breaking Through, and it became an Amazon #1 bestseller. So if you'd like a free introductory chapter of the book, just either go to my website, chrisnatzke.com, or you can text the word breakthrough to 720-741-6263. That's 720-741-6263, and you'll get the introductory chapter for free for Breaking Through. So once again, guys, thanks so much for being a part of this. Thanks so much for all your support throughout the years. I'm so appreciative of you. And this has been Chris Natzke with Black Belt Leadership Speaking and Coaching, and I'll see you next time on the Mind of a Champion Tip of the Week.